Okay, Ina alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam ala wa rasulullah. I'd like to welcome everybody to our weekly meeting with the children. Although this is for the Sunnah follower kids, is also for my new shahadas too, because this book that we're studying from in this class, which is entitled Dunya. It's a book written by one of my students, Brother Daryl Abdullah Kirk. This book can be purchased at Amazon for only $13. I strongly encourage all of my new shahadas to buy this book because it's a watered down version. It's a watered down version. I repeat, it's a watered down version of Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid's book on Wala wal Bara, or trying to maintain your Islamic identity while living in a non-Islamic society. So this book is not written for children, it's written for adults, but to show how Islam appeals to anyone with common sense. Our children who are ages 6 through 18, they understand this book. Even though they can't read, by me doing my PowerPoints and explaining it, they understand it because this is basic Aqidah. So for all my new shahadas, I strongly encourage you to go to Amazon.com. Again, it's my student. His name is Daryl Abdullah Kirk. He wrote this book, and he also wrote the book Sacred Bonds. The book I'm teaching on marriage is written by my student, Brother Daryl Kirk, too. Yes, I have male students. Yes, I have male students. Yes, I have male students. The brother here is asking. Yes, Brother Daryl Kirk, he took Shahada years ago, and he took his Shahada with my teacher. My teacher, Sheikh Morsi. He goes to the community. He's part of the community where my teacher, Sheikh Morsi, is. And Brother Daryl Abdullah Kirk took his Shahada with him, and my teacher sent him to me. He said, go to my best student, Layla Nashiba, and learn from her. And Brother Abdullah Kirk has learned from me here at Sunnahfollowers. And he's written several books on Islam. Alhamdulillah. All right, so pick the book up. So let's get started. Let me put the PowerPoint up on the screen for today's discussion. And again, for the new shahadas, how many of you are in here? Let's see, 1, 2. I got about 10 of you in here. Okay, there's some more joining. Okay, mashallah. What? Yeah, go ahead, sister. You have a question right quick? Go ahead. Okay, how long have you been Muslim? You're new Shahada? Yeah, okay, recently. And your Imam sent you here? The Imam of your community? Where do you stay at, if I can ask? So just so I can get an idea. Oh, you're from New York. Oh yeah, I know a lot of brothers up there. Yeah, okay. And they sent you here to learn? MashaAllah. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Okay, yes, so go ahead, I'll answer it. Okay, you have a tattoo. Okay, she wants to know, guys, since she's a new convert, does she have to remove her tattoos? Because it's very expensive, she doesn't have the money. No, you don't have to. You don't have to remove your tattoos, okay? You're a new Shahada. You don't have to worry about that. Whatever you've done in the past is in the past. And no, you don't have to cover it up either. I mean, as a Muslim woman, whenever you leave the home, where's your tattoo at? Oh, you got a couple? Okay, well, you're a Muslim woman. So when you leave the home, the only thing that can be seen is your face and your hands. So don't worry about that. You're not going to be showing those body parts to anyone anyway. So don't worry about it. Allah doesn't hold you accountable. And just so the new shahadas understand something, there's a hadith too, whereas our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when you convert to Islam, you know, all your bad deeds, you know, are held back. Okay? So if you're practicing your religion correctly, following Islam as you're supposed to, Allah is not going to hold you accountable for those bad things you've done, okay? Or did out of ignorance. Okay. Yeah, so don't worry about your tattoos. What about piercings? Oh, now that's a little different. We don't mutilate our bodies. Okay, the only piercings you can have as a woman is you can pierce your ears, you can pierce your nose, and that's about it. All that other stuff, you know, them other body parts, that's mutilation. So let that stuff close up. Yeah, let those holes close up. Yeah, you were ashamed to ask the Imam, no worry. That's why he sent you here. What mosque you out of? What is this, out of Brooklyn? Okay, I know the Imam. Yeah, yeah, I know who sent you. You're from out of Brooklyn. Give my salams to the Imam and his wives. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. How is his wife doing too, by the way? Is his wife okay? Because I heard she was kind of sick. Okay, when you go to the mosque, give my salams to the Imam and his wife particularly. Tell her that Sister Layla sends her salams and best wishes, okay? Yeah, alhamdulillah. Yeah, so don't worry about the tattoos. And as far as the piercings, let the holes close up. But you can keep your piercing in your nose and your earrings. Leave that other stuff alone. Let the other stuff close. All right. Okay, Brother Diarmani, you had a question before we start? Go
ahead. If you smoke, are you out of wudu?
Does smoking break your wudu? That's what you're asking?
Yeah.
No, it does not. But smoking is haram. It's a major sin. It's a horrific sin. A person that smokes is the same as a person that drinks alcohol. And guess what that means? Allah doesn't accept your prayers. I want and this is a good question, especially for the new shahadas. I want you guys to understand that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whenever a person deliberately, intentionally disobeys Allah, none of your good deeds are accepted. Period. Dot. Until you stop doing the sin. So since the person smokes cigarettes, he can make wudu, he can pray, he can make hajj. Ain't none of that stuff accepted. None of his good deeds are accepted until he stops smoking. And the same for the people who do marijuana, because I got some people here who still smoke weed. And you, the Imam, send you guys to me. Yeah, the Imam in Brooklyn talked about the weed, right? Yeah, I heard. You know, by the way, guys, for the new shahadas, don't pay attention to that stuff. We do have some idiots out there. Just because people are Muslim and famous speakers don't mean anything. No one can change the laws of Allah. And I know that there's an idiot out there who put some fatwa out saying that marijuana is legal, that marijuana is good and clean. We don't do drugs. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said all intoxicants are haram. Marijuana is an intoxicant. Nicotine is an intoxicant too. That's why we can't smoke cigarettes. We talked about the hadith where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the alcoholic The drug addict will be raised up as a kafir on the day of judgment. Why? Because he took his drugs, his alcohol, that marijuana, that nicotine as your Lord over Allah. That's associating partners. You knew it was haram, but you love to get drunk. You love to get high more than you love the law. Okay, so you knew shahadas, you got to let it go. Let go of the marijuana. Let go of the cigarettes. Let go, let go, let go. And that's what we're going to be speaking about right now in this class here. How society's cultures, how society's culture stands between us and our relationship with Allah. Everybody understand? Okay, so let's put the PowerPoint up on the screen. Yeah, so tell the people to stop smoking, otherwise their prayers are not accepted. Just like with you sisters that don't wear hijab. Where's your hijab at? You got your hijab on? You sisters? You know, if you don't wear hijab, that you're deliberately, intentionally disobeying Allah. What does that mean? That means none of your good deeds are being accepted. Not your prayers, your charity, nothing. Okay, so let's get started. Put the PowerPoint up. Good questions too. Oh, the Imam's wife is watching me? Okay, well, assalamu alaikum. How are you, sister? Yeah, I heard you were under the weather. Hope you're feeling better. I'll keep you in my dua, inshallah. Okay. Yeah. Brooklyn's in the house. Okay. Sisters in from Brooklyn. She from Brooklyn. Okay, here we go, guys. Let's put the PowerPoint up so you guys can see it. All right. And this is the book. Let me make this larger. Oh, hold on. This is a picture of the book Dunya, and that's my student. That's Brother Daryl Abdullah Kirk. He's my student. He's written several books on Islam, and this is the one we're using. And again, these books are not children's books. These are adult books. You can buy this book Dunya. You can purchase it at Amazon for $13. And tonight, what we're going to do is cover chapter 17, which speaks about how Islam is our culture. How as Muslims, we are of a different culture. When you take Shahada, when you declare La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, you are declaring that your culture, your lifestyle is submittance to Allah. That's Islam. Islam is an Arabic word that means to submit yourself to Allah. So that's your culture. And let's talk about it. Okay. Where's my power? There it is. Inshallah, you guys can see. And by the way, I use pictures for the kids because this is, classes for the kids. Okay, we have to understand, guys, that as Muslims living in the West, Muslims living in places like America, Australia, United Kingdom, Europe, those are Western countries. We frequently encounter a lot of cultural practices that are in direct violation of our Islamic laws, our Islamic views. For example, look what's going on now, Christmas. This is a cultural practice. It's practiced all over the world. It's celebrated all over the world. It totally contradicts our Islamic views, our Islamic ideology. We don't worship anyone. But this is the day that they worship Jesus, alayhi salam. Okay? We don't celebrate the birth or the death of anyone. As our Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, the sun, it doesn't eclipse at the birth or death of anyone. Okay? To celebrate the birth of someone, this is an action of worship. You say that just because this person is born, this person is deserving of presence. This person is deserving of a gift. This person is deserving of being praised and glorified. That's worship. The only one worthy of glorification and praise is Allah. So that's also why we don't celebrate birthdays at all. We don't do Christmas and we don't do any birthday. We don't celebrate our own birthday. We don't celebrate our children's birthdays, our mothers, none of that, because we only worship Allah. And it's hard for us to maintain this type of ideology when everybody else around us is doing those things. Everybody is getting ready to celebrate the new year. The new year is just another year, another day. The Prophet Muhammad didn't celebrate a new year, not the Islamic calendar. In fact, he didn't create that Islamic calendar. That was something that Umar did just to be different from the non-believers, but not to celebrate anything. Subhanallah, we don't celebrate any New Year's. We don't celebrate any days. Our days of celebration are Ramadan, and Ramadan is spent remembering Allah. Our days of celebration are the days of the Hajj, but that's spent glorifying and praising Allah. So it's hard for us who live in the West to maintain our Islamic identity and our Islamic morality when the people around us are engaging in actions that contradict this. However, that doesn't mean that it can't be done. It can be done as long as we stick to what Allah says and stick to the example of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and not the example of anyone else. Listen to what Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning. Say indeed, my prayer, my rites of sacrifice, my life and my death are for Allah, the Lord of the worlds, who has no partner. And of this I have been commanded, and I am the first amongst you of the Muslims. Subhanallah. Here we can see in this verse of the Quran, Allah is underlining the significance of putting Him at the forefront of everything. We only glorify Him. We only praise Him. We only celebrate and worship Him. That's it. Not anyone or anything else. We have to give precedence to Allah, His laws, His commands, and His rules. And the more we achieve this, the closer we get to Allah. The more we achieve this and maintain this balance, the stronger our relationship with Allah will become. And that's what's known as having taqwa Allah. For the new shahadas too, and the kids here, taqwa Allah. This is an Arabic statement that means consciousness of Allah. I'm going to try to be as conscious of my Lord as I can, because as the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the more conscious we are of Allah, the less likely we are to commit sin, the less likely we are to give in to our desires, the less likely we are to violate Him and celebrate something that He didn't command us to do. So a lot of people ask the question, why do people commit sins? One of the people, the kids here, asked that before. Why do people sin, Sister Layla, when they know it's wrong? Why do people smoke cigarettes when they know it's haram? They know it's bad for them. Well, they don't have taqwa Allah. They don't have the consciousness of Allah that they need to have. Like we talked about yesterday, we need to think about death more. That's why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, remember the destroyer of pleasure, known as death, because we can die at any moment. You do not want to die in bad standing with Allah. This world is temporary. Fun is temporary. Smoking that cigarette, you're going to get that nicotine high. You want to experience that high that you experience when you smoke when you first wake up. You want to experience that high that you experience when you smoke after eating, when you smoke after taking a shower, when you smoke after an hour. But that nicotine high only lasts 15 minutes at the most. So every 15 minutes, you lighten up a cancer stick. Every 15 minutes, you're chasing that demon, that high. And you're addicted. You love that high so much that you're going to be unconscious of Allah. And that's why the Prophet said such a person that dies in that state will be raised up as a kafir, because you love that high, that temporary feeling more than Allah. Subhanallah, guys. We got to let them cigarettes go. They got Nicoderm patches out there. I'm here to tell you guys, those Nicoderm patches work. If you are sincere in wanting to quit that sin, those Nicoderm patches will help you. And most health insurances cover it, because even the kafir are trying to do away with smoking cigarettes, because it kills you. So Allah's laws, the way that we can survive living in the West is by understanding that Allah's laws, Allah's commands, and his guidance is for the betterment of us. Allah doesn't make the rules to punish us. He doesn't make the rules to oppress us. He doesn't tell us to not drink, to not do drugs, to cover up our bodies because he's being cruel. He's doing it because he knows what's best for us. And an example of this is Ramadan. Now, the non-Muslims are celebrating Christmas right now. They're celebrating Hanukkah. They're celebrating the New Year. We don't participate in any of that because we only worship Allah, and our allegiance is to him. Our allegiance is to the religion of Islam. However, we do have a holiday coming up. Our holiday is the whole month of Ramadan. And during that month, Allah commands us to spend every day from Fajr till Maghrib doing away with food and drink to show our commitment to him. And he tells us why. He tells us he's not making us fast just to oppress us, to starve us. He's making us fast so we can gain control over our bad actions, our bad behavior. We can recognize that we are gluttons, that we spend more time eating than we do praying. That maybe we spend more time playing video games instead of reading the Quran. We spend more time on social media running our mouths instead of doing self-evaluation. As Allah says in the interpretation of the meaning, fasting has been prescribed upon you as it was prescribed upon those who came before you, so that you can become a righteous, better person. So that's an example as to how Allah's laws are not like man's. Allah's laws are to better us, to make us better. I have one of my new shahadas here, Sister Sandra. Remember, Sandra converted to Islam last Ramadan. Remember, that was her test. And she spent that month giving up cigarettes. She got those Nicoderm patches. By the end of Ramadan, she was nicotine free. And Sandra hasn't touched a cigarette since then. She says she feels like a new person. Her health is better. Her house is cleaner because her walls are not yellow anymore. Her fingernails are not yellow. She doesn't stink anymore. And she can breathe. But she made it through. She kicked that habit because she wanted to get close to Allah. Because during the month of Ramadan, you know, not only do we avoid eating and drinking food and water, but you can't smoke cigarettes and none of that stuff. When she found out that smoking cigarettes destroys any of your other deeds, she said, I'm not going to put myself through fasting and starving myself because I got to have a cigarette. She said, I'm going to kick this habit. I want my prayers to be accepted. I want my fast to be accepted. I want my donations to the website to be accepted. I want all my charity to be accepted. So she gave it up. And that's what I say to you other new shahadas. You got to give up these bad actions. Give up the cigarettes. Give up the weed. Put your clothes on. Cover your bodies up, women. You sisters talk about how nice you think I look. SubhanAllah, I'm covered. Put Beyonce next to Layla Nashiba. Beyonce don't stand a chance with me. Put Nicki Minaj next to me. She don't stand a chance either. They gonna look at me, not them. They might look at Beyonce's butt. They might look at Nicki Minaj's butt. But they're going to look at me and say, wow, this woman is exotic. She's beautiful. She's got something going on here. And I wished I could see what she had on underneath there. And they tell Beyonce and Nicki Minaj to bounce. They tell them, we can get you anywhere. But that woman there, she's rare. That woman there, that's a gem to have. And that's how you sisters have to think. You know, those of you who are struggling, my kids here too. Every child over the age of 7, if you are a female, any girl over the age of 7 should be dressing in a hijab and a abaya, just like me. None of you girls should be walking around in shorts. Oh no, that's over. None of you girls should be walking around showing your hair. You should be covering up in an abaya, in a kimar. A lot of you are from different countries. All my African girls who are 7 years old and older, you all should be wearing your traditional clothing. You should be wearing your clothing from Nigeria, from Kenya, from Somalia, from Ethiopia. And you should be wearing it with pride. My Arabic girls here, you should look like me, although I got on Somali clothes. But you should be dressing like me and abayas and kimars. We have to obey Allah, guys. Allah makes the rules for our betterment and for our protection. So, a lot of people may ask the question, well, Sister Layla, is there a person? I mean, since we can't take Spider-Man, Batman as our examples, since I can't use Nicki Minaj, since I can't use Cardi B, Beyonce as my role model or example because they're disobeying Allah. You know, what role models and examples do we have? Well, first of all, the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He was sent to all mankind and jinn, male and female, to teach us how to act, how to dress, how to behave. And he also taught us how to deal with living in a society where everybody else is indulging in things that go against what we are told to do. We have to take him as our example, his wives, his companions as our role models, not the people of today. But unfortunately, a lot of us are not doing that. Unfortunately, we've taken Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, Jay-Z, and all of them as our role models, rap artists. That's all you see on YouTube. Some of these famous brothers who call themselves giving dawah. You know, who cares about Ice-T and them converting to Islam? I don't care. They're not our role models. Your role models are those companions. Subhanallah. How did those companions deal with living in the land of non-belief, the land of disbelief? Did they adapt the dress of the non-believers? Did they walk like them, talk like them, speak like them? Our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught his companions to take an active role in society, but at the same time to distance themselves from that which goes against our principles, our values. For example, when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent Mu'ad, may Allah be pleased with him, as the ambassador to Yemen to give dawah, he told him, interact with the people, learn their culture, learn their laws, but do not allow their culture and their laws to come between ours. He said, you're going to see them doing a lot of things that we don't do, such as interest. He said, you stay away from interest. You're going to see them engaging in a lot of actions that we don't engage in. Distance yourself from that. Learn the laws of the land. Learn the culture of the people. Learn their language. But don't allow their laws, their culture, their dress, their language to come between what Allah tells you to do. That's what the Prophet told to all his companions who he sent out to give dawah. That's the same thing Abu Bakr, may Allah be pleased with him, and Umar and Uthman and Ali did when they sent their people out to give dawah. Islam spread throughout the world. Learn the laws of the land and don't violate them. Learn the culture, learn the language, learn the people, but don't adapt their culture. He told him, don't get involved in their politics. During the Caliphate of Abu Bakr, as Islam, they were fighting against the Romans and then the Persians. Abu Bakr said, don't get involved in their politics. That's why we don't vote in elections. That's why we don't participate in this marches and protests for the equal LGBTQ rights and junk. That's that we don't get involved in that. We know the laws of the land and we don't get involved because Allah says they will never, ever accept us. Allah tells us that in the Quran, that the non-believers will never accept us. They will never accept our way of life. They will come together to destroy us. So we don't get involved in their politics. But you see Muslims today involved in the politics of the land. Voting, which is haram, picking up signs, protesting the qadr of Allah. Allah sent the war. But instead of them doing what Allah says to do when he sends war, they're acting like the non-believers, protesting against his decree. And we wonder why Allah is spreading the war. So, as Muslims, we are warned to not partake in that which is forbidden for us and to not involve ourselves into the politics of the non-Muslims. We don't assimilate with them. And we don't imitate with them, and we don't associate with them on that type of level. Does everybody understand that? And it's hard to do, but it can be done. It can be done. It can be done if your consciousness of Allah is there. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? So we have to work on maintaining our consciousness of Allah and our commitment to him, our allegiance to him, our allegiance to the Prophet, and our allegiance to Islam. That's how we can live anywhere on this earth and still maintain that Islamic identity. So that's what today's class is about, maintaining our Islamic culture, despite the fact that we are encountering cultures from other people. We can do it, just like the companions did. Mu'adh went to Yemen. The Muslims defeated the Roman Empire. Islam spread all over the world, even during the caliphate of Uthman, through Spain and through Africa. But those companions still maintained their Muslim identity. They didn't get involved in the politics of the countries. They didn't imitate the people there. They maintained their Islamic identity. So now, here's my question. I want you guys to tell me, what are some issues that may be challenging to you, that may stand between you maintaining your Muslim identity, such as the holidays? What are some other things? You see all the kids, participating in Christmas. This is hard, but you can do it. What are some other things besides holidays? Go ahead, Corday. Let's hear from Corday.
Not be able to do stuff that other kids do, like where their parents kind of like get them everything they want. I mean, I'm not spoiled, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of rough, isn't it? You go to school around the non-Muslim kids and they're bragging and boasting how their parents spend $300 on a pair of Nike shoes for them. But your mother and father got better sense. They'll tell you, that $300 can pay a bill. I'm going to take you and buy you a nice pair of tennis shoes, but we ain't paying no $300 for a name. That can be a challenge. But mashallah, you deal with it, don't you?
Yeah, I go to an Islamic school.
Good. Oh, good. Good. That makes it better when you go to a Muslim school. But Muslims do it too. But mashallah, that's better. Good job. Brother Diarmani, what's an issue that can be challenging for you when it comes to maintaining your Islamic identity? Go ahead, Diarmani.
Like, when I see people playing Halloween, I tell them no, it's haram, but they just say no, it's not, because they're just non-Muslims. They don't even know it's haram. Because I tell people, when I see people always celebrating Halloween, I tell them to stop, but they just don't.
Exactly, and that's a challenge too. You go to school and all the kids are celebrating Halloween. They all got these trick-or-treat games and candy and pumpkins, and they come to school dressed up like pirates and fairies and all this stuff, and you come to school looking like yourself. That's kind of hard. That's a challenge, but you can overcome it. And like he said, you overcome it by being conscious of Allah. Like he said, you remember it's haram. Why do I want to dress up like a jinn? Why do I want to dress up like shaitan? Why do I want to go around scaring people, trick or treating? I don't need nobody to toss me a candy. I can go buy some candy. So you can overcome that challenge as long as you look at it from the perspective of Islam. Good job, dear Mani. Sister Rahima, what's a challenge for you that may be a challenge for you?
Finding Muslim friends.
Oh God, mashallah, that's the one. I'm here to tell you, I am 63 years old. Oh yeah. For the brother here that's typing, I'm old enough to be your grandmother, dude. You better stop that. I might end up kicking you up out of here. This ain't no age, sex, location place. I'm old enough to be your grandmother. I got great grandkids. Oh yeah. Somewhere. But anyway, it's hard to find Muslim friends. I'm 63 and can't find no friends. I only got the same 2 friends I've had my whole life. You know, Latifa and Aisha. Those only 2 friends I got. I ain't got no other friends. Can't find none. You know, it's hard. You know, water seeks its own level. You trying to be a good Muslim. You trying to wear your hijab. You trying to dress with an abaya. The other Muslim girls ain't wearing hijab. The other Muslim girls, they look like Cardi B ho. So that makes it hard for you. So I can relate to that. You know, finding a good Muslim friend is so hard for all of us. Good job. Okay, Sister Tahira, what's a challenge for you living in this Western society?
Being away from family during holidays.
Oh, yeah. That's a big challenge. You know that all your cousins are getting together to party. They having a party over there. But your mom tells you, no, you can't go. Even though cousins, all your cousins and uncles and aunts, they got the slides going on. They got a lot of food going on. They got parties going on. You have to stay away because this worship, this celebrating that they're doing is an act of worship. And you have to, you know, stay away. That's hard. But how do you deal with that, Tahira? What helps you to get through that? What do you think about that helps you get through it?
I just stick around my own, like my mom and dad and my siblings.
Exactly. You know that what they doing, they partying now. But they can slip on a piece of cornbread, fall and hit their head and die. They won't be partying in that grave. So that's one of the things that'll keep us strong. You can say, yeah, well, they partying off of worshiping something other than Allah. But inshallah, I'll be partying with the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you know, when I'm in my grave. And then look at the people around you. Look at your mother, your father, your siblings, and the Muslims in your community that do practice. That helps to make it easy. Like Rahima said, if you got some Muslim friends, you know, cling to your Muslim friends, that'll make it easy. Good job. Sister Amalia, what's a challenge for you living in this society? And Amalia, you just got back from Burundi, right? Didn't you just get back a couple of months ago from Burundi? So you're back in America to the West. What's the challenge for you, Amalia? Go ahead.
Like when sometimes my friends doesn't wear the hijab, maybe.
Yes.
Really.
Yes, you know.
Or like not eating stuff that you can't really eat, but I'm fine.
Exactly. Princess Amalia's from the royal family of Burundi. And she just got back here. And she knows, you know, where she lives, you know, in Burundi, you know, they don't have to worry about the food because everything's halal and lawful and good and clean. You know, where she lives, all the girls look like her. They all dress like her. They don't have no problem covering up. But then when she come back here to America, you got Muslims at half step. You got to be careful of the food you eat. And like she said, you know, you can't even tell who's Muslim and who isn't. That's a big challenge, especially coming from some place like Burundi, you know, to here. By the way, I'm 1% Burundi too. Yep, Layla's got 1% Burundi in her. Yes. Sister Asma Najma, what's a challenge for you?
Like when I'm fasting and other kids around me are just eating, sometimes it's hard, but most of the time it's not, cause it's only a challenge when like I'm really tired.
MashaAllah. Now, Asma, y'all know she's from Kenya. She's Somali. They getting ready to move back there one day soon. Her mom's a nurse. And like Asma says, I met her in person. In fact, she brought me one of these beautiful kimars I'm wearing. Yeah, I dress like Somalians. But and I, by the way, I got 3% Somalian in me too. Oh yeah, Layla got 1% Burundi. I got 3% Somali. I got 1% Atrician, whatever that is. And you know I got the Congo, Nigeria. I got all of Africa in me. You know, my mother and father's people, they conquered. But anyway, Asma, she fasts every Ramadan. She's been fasting every Ramadan. And like she said, that's a challenge. You know, you're the only kid, you know, that's fasting. The non-Muslims look at you like you're weird. They're like, you can't eat nothing. You can't drink nothing. But like she says, she tells them, oh, it's just until the sun sets. Then I can eat and drink whatever I want. It's not really hard because we find out that most of us overeat anyway. You know the hadith of the prophet, leave 1/3 of your stomach for breathing, another third for food, another third for water. We overdo it. That's why, you know, people in the West are more obese. People in the West are fatter than people in Burundi. They're fatter than people in Somali. They're fatter than people in Kenya. We overindulge.
Sister Layla,
Yes,
I want to answer the question.
go ahead.
When somebody says to me, have a good Christmas, what I say is, same to you.
MashaAllah. That's what the Prophet Muhammad taught us. He remembers that hadith when those Jews,
And I also say, I don't convert to Christmas and I never will.
That's right. MashaAllah. And that's what the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam taught us. When those Jews tried to curse him, what did he say? He didn't argue. He just said, Walaikum. And what does that mean? The same to you. That's what the Prophet taught us to do. That's how we answer the greetings of anyone. If a non-Muslim says Happy Christmas, the same to you. Happy New Year, same to you. Happy Easter, same to you. Happy Ramadan, same to you. Assalamu alaikum, same to you. Do fries go with that shake? Same to you. Hey girl, drop it like it's hot. Same to you. Y'all see that? That'll keep you from getting hurt. The Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was our example. He taught us how to handle ourselves in all situations, even responding to the greetings of the non-Muslims. Like he told his wife Aisha that day. He said, did you hear my response to them? I said, Walaikum. I've put it right back on them, the same to them. If I had to sit here and argue with them, they could have hurt me. Although they wouldn't have been able to, because our prophet had the strength of over 100 men. But he said, why put myself in a situation like that? Just say, Walaikum. So that's the way all of us should be answering the greetings of the non-Muslims. Walaikum, which means the same to you. Good job. Okay, Sister Elma's daughter, what's the challenge for you?
My grandpa died of a type of sicknesses. A night he had a heart attack, and then he stayed in the hospital, and then he couldn't speak or move, and then he died one time.
Oh, wow. What was it, from cigarettes?
Don't know, actually. He had
Oh,
a heart attack.
he just had a heart attack. Oh, may Allah make it easy for him. I mean, subhanallah. That's a challenge for all of us, dealing with death. But I'll tell you something about death. It keeps us humble before Allah. Doesn't it, Hassan? Doesn't it keep you humble? The fact that your grandfather's not here anymore, that lets you know that the day can come when Allah takes your soul, right? So that's a challenge to deal with, but there's good in it too, because it'll keep us humble.
He was the one who used to play with me the most, and he was the one who used to love me the most.
Oh, he was the one that loved you the most and played with you the most. It reminds us of that hadith where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was told by the angel Jibril. He said, "Oh Muhammad, love who you want to love, because you and them surely will die." So we have to make the most of our moments here on this earth, guys. We don't have time to get caught up into, oh, I wished I didn't have to wear a hijab. Oh, I wished I could go trick-or-treating. Life is too short. You know, enjoy the good, lawful things that Allah put here on us, on earth for us, and keep it moving. We ain't got time to sit around wishing on a star for things that are not even good for us. Thank you for sharing that, Hassan. SubhanAllah. Okay, Sister Nia's niece, what's a challenge for you? We can't hear you, baby.
Okay, I'm sorry. It's me today, not my niece. But I want to thank this sister. I think her name is Sister Hasna. Thank you so much for helping me today, because I couldn't think of something solid that was challenging for me, such as holidays. But you made a good point, little sister. For me, it's hard because I have parents who weren't Muslims. So, you know, I can't pray for them, and they've passed away, and they're the people who love me the most and help me the most. So that is very hard. And thank you, Sister Hassana.
Oh, mashallah. Exactly. And that's why the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us to look to there's good in everything. There's good in everything. You know, your grandfather, Sister Hasna, is not here anymore, but mashallah, you know, at least you can still make dua for him, and inshallah, he'll be with you in paradise. Okay, and even for Sister Nia, there's good for her too. Her father, she can't make dua for him, but he gave her a good life here when he was here, because at least she had a father. Because guess what? My father died. I don't remember him at all. I don't even remember how he looked. I have to look at pictures. My father, you know, died when I was like 6 years old. I don't remember him at all. I wasn't raised by my father. Even though my father was Arabic, it was my stepfather that raised me and taught me La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. So there's good in everything. At least she had Sister Nia had a man in her life, you know, to show her some love. I ain't never had no love. I mean, seriously.
Well, we love you.
I ain't never had a man that loved me. That's the truth. I ain't. That's why I used to say, love don't love nobody.
Well, you know what? You doing everything that you can here for us, and I'm quite sure that in paradise you are gonna definitely have the master man's loves, believe me.
Thank you. I needed to hear that. See, you made my day too. You made me feel better too. See that, guys? A kind word Just a kind word like that can help us to get through the hiccups in life. MashaAllah. Sister Sabrina, what's a challenge for you?
Well, I've been public schooled my whole life, so I've been to going to Catholic school, so I'm used to everything. So I really don't have a challenge. All my friends know what to get me when it's a gift. They know to check, and they know not to ask me if it's contributing my religion.
And see, that's an example what happens. You know, Sabrina's from Burundi too. Princess Sabrina's from Burundi too. But she's a great example as to how you can leave a faith-filled environment and come to one that's not. But because her parents instilled in her, from birth all the way through her life, that taqwa, or that consciousness of Allah, she can practice her religion anywhere on this earth. She doesn't allow the environment, the people around her, to cause her to compromise her faith. And that's the way I want all of you to get to. Sabrina's older than most of you here, and I'm praying that most of you will reach her level of taqwa. Whereas she wears her hijab, she covers up, she practices her deen, she has self-esteem, she has self-love, and she loves her Lord. She loves the Prophet. So nothing bothers her. She's strong. That's that taqwa, that consciousness of Allah. That's what it does to you. Okay, subhanallah, mashallah, Sabrina. And Sister Anaya, let's hear from Anaya. What's a challenge for you?
Waiting to eat until sunset during Ramadan.
Waiting to eat to break your fast during Ramadan? MashaAllah. That is so cute. And that is a challenge. Because remember, guys, we can't break our fast too early, nor can we break our fast too late. Okay? If you break it too early, it's like you starved yourself. The fast doesn't count. And if you wait too late, you've committed a sin. Okay? Remember, we don't wait until the red goes away. If we wait until the red disappears, then it's Isha. And a lot of people are breaking their fast too late. So that's a big challenge, to be able to fast and break it on time, to not break it too late nor break it too early. So mashallah, these were all excellent answers that you all came up with. Life can be challenging no matter where you live, but it's even more specifically challenging for those of us living in the West. All right. And so now let me share with you guys this wonderful, wonderful hadith. Our Prophet, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, said, whoever imitates a people is one of them. And that's the whole point here. We want to maintain our Islamic identity, our Islamic morals, our Islamic values. We're not supposed to blend in and become like the non-believers. Because our Prophet said if we try to blend in and become like them, then we will be one of them. We will inherit their problems. Because remember, their laws are made by man. Their laws were inspired by man. Their laws were not designed by Allah, who knows what's best for us. So we have to be able to do just like Mu'ad radiallahu anhu did, just like Khalid bin Walid radiallahu anhu did, just like all the companions did as Islam spread throughout the Roman Empire, the Persian Empire, across Spain, across Africa. Those companions all maintained their Islamic identity, their Muslim identity. They didn't get involved in the politics. They learned the laws. They learned the customs. They learned the languages, but they distanced. They did el bara against whatever stood between them and their Lord. We need to do like them. All right. Okay. So this was a pretty good class. Alhamdulillah. Next week, we'll continue with chapter 18 of the book. This was chapter 17 of the book Dunya, written by my student, Brother Abdullah Kirk. Yes, I have male students. Okay. And inshallah, we'll continue with that book. And also try to buy the book written by Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid entitled My First Salat. I think I have a commercial of it. Let me show you guys this book because I'm going to teach it next week, inshallah, if I can order it from myself. This one here. He said, pray as you see me pray. Utter these words that you hear me say. Based on the Sunnah, worship Him, just follow Him. Now that book is written for the children. Please, guys, order it off of Amazon. It's by Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid. And because what I'm going to do is go over the prayer with the kids to teach you guys how to pray the way the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us. And also, I understand the book has puzzles in it and things like that. So we'll be doing puzzles and things like that from the book. So try to order that so we can start that up, add that to the curriculum for the kids. All right, I want to thank everybody for joining and participating. The next class is my 6:30 class on the sins of disbelief. Please make sure everybody is here for that class, the adults and kids. New shahadas, be here. And then at 9:30 tonight, inshallah, I'll be teaching the class on marriage, sacred bonds of marriage. And by the way, this is the first of the month coming up. We need your donations. If you guys enjoy learning Islam in its truthfulness with the understanding of the companions, please support this dawah effort. We are a 501(c) nonprofit organization. On the first of the month, this streaming bill will come out. How much is the streaming bill? $300. Please support us so that doesn't bounce. We're going to need $300 for this streaming bill by the first. All right. So I want to thank everybody for joining. Inshallah, I'll see you guys back here at 6:30. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. By the way, regular students, we getting ready to work that cheer at 4 p.m. Assalamu alaikum. Who got the thumb up?
Bye.
Walaikum salam.
Subhanallah.